High over Afghanistan, Major Derek Baker and his KC-135 crew pump gas into a leaking F-16. Fuel sprays out of the F-16's engine. Without constant refueling, the F-16's pilot may have to bail.
96-year-old Mickey Ganich was a sailor aboard the USS Pennsylvania, a battleship sitting at dry dock the day the Japanese launched their attack.
I was there. I was 22 years old. We were scheduled to play the USS Arizona for Fleet Football Championship that day.
It's early morning, Sunday, December 7th, 1941. Most sailors are just beginning their day. Mickey is suiting up for an intercrew football game. Suddenly, hundreds of fighter planes and bombers appear out of the sky.
When did you understand that you guys were under attack?
We're gonna leave the ship at 8 o'clock, get ready for the scrimmaging, get ready for that game.
Yeah.
The attack came, said, all hands man your battle stations. My battle station's up in the crow's nest. The time I got up there, ships were burning, buildings were burning, everybody's shooting, planes flying all around there. The bomb had missed me about 45 feet. He went through 2 decks and exploded. It was like a nightmare, but it was a real thing here.
In 2 short hours, Japan's aerial armada levels the American naval base and surrounding airfields. More than 21 ships are damaged or destroyed, and almost 2,400 Americans are killed.
There was nothing they could do. It just look around, see the slaughter that took place. All I could do is pray for them. I made it. I'm one of the lucky ones that made it.
The very next day, President Roosevelt declares war.
To overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
But with the fleet at Pearl Harbor reduced to ashes, how did the United States come back from such a terrible defeat to win the war in the Pacific and help settle the score for men like Mickey Ganich?
Mickey, an absolute pleasure to be with you today, sir.
May 27th, 1944. Hundreds of Allied bombers filled the sky, all headed for Ludwigshafen, Germany, home to a critical Nazi fuel refinery. Clarence Bud Anderson was an American P-51 fighter pilot and triple ace in World War II. Anderson and his group of P-51 Mustang fighters are there to escort the massive bomber group. If the German 109 strike, it will be up to Anderson to fend them off.
We were just about to the target area, just about getting into Germany, when my wingman calls out, we got bogies coming after us from 5 o'clock high.
Anderson looks up and spots an incoming swarm of German fighters. Anderson pulls into a sharp turn, desperate to draw the 109s away from the bombers.
And I look back, and I go, oh my God, he's coming after us.
In no time, another 109 is on his tail. Anderson tries to shake him, but the 109 holds on tight.
All of his moves were aggressive. I knew I was fighting somebody that had full combat, because he knew what to do.
Out of options, Anderson pulls back hard on his stick, and the 2 fighters rocket upwards. As they climb, the 109 slowly inches its nose higher into firing position.
Looking back there, seeing an enemy airplane on your tail is not a good feeling.
Pushing their aircraft to the limit, both fighters are on the verge of stalling.
We're both going like this, and somebody's going to lose their airspeed and stall out. And the first guy that does that is going to be in trouble.
Just in time, The 109 sputters and begins to fall.
Boy, it was just a great relief, and I could follow him down, sitting right there again.
Anderson dives in pursuit, now hot on the tail of the 109.
So I thought, by God, I'm going to try to get inside of him this time. So I cut inside of him. I said, hot dog, I'm going to make it. I could tell I was going to get inside of him.
He locks his gun sight onto the 109 and puts his finger on the trigger.
I glanced at my ball and got it in the middle. Fire burst. And I got spectacular results. I got it all over the engine, the cockpit. That just lights up like a Christmas tree.
The 109 spirals downwards, billowing smoke as it falls.
And I can see his shadow on the ground. And pretty soon, wow, bang, he and his shadow met. Tremendous explosion.
Anderson clears out, breathing a sigh of relief.
He was probably the best pilot I ran into in the whole war in Europe.
March 2011, the USS Kearsarge, just off the coast of Libya. The 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit takes part in an international military operation against Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. Late at night, 2 Osprey crews get an urgent call. An F-15 pilot has crashed behind enemy lines. He's alive. The Marines' mission: rescue him.
The Marine Corps does what's called TRAP, or Tactical Recovery of Aircraft and Personnel. The 2 main prerequisites that we need are the location known of the potential survivor and reasonable certainty that the survivor is alive.
Maintainers rush to ready the Osprey. Captain Joe Andrzejak and his co-pilot quickly get to work on a flight plan.
We were getting a lot of information as far as exact location and the threat picture, so to speak.
Even with the location of the F-15 pilot known, it's a race against the clock.
We were absolutely worried about the potential hostiles on the ground there in Libya affecting the situation. The longer that person spends in isolation, the higher the chances are that he or she is going to be not recovered.
Intelligence places the pilot at a location 150 miles from the ship. The Osprey will have to rely on its speed to get in and out quickly. Gaddafi's air defense guns and missiles are a very real threat.
Our flight from the boat to Libya itself lasted about 30 minutes. And then once we were feet dry over Libya, it was about another 10 minutes to where the pilot was located.
Coordinates lead the Osprey right into enemy territory. But if the Marines know the pilot's location, there's a good chance that the enemy does too.
Obviously, in an uncertain situation like this, there's some amount of worry, happening, flying into a very uncertain scenario.
The Osprey drops down just 100 feet away from the pilot. 15 recon Marines immediately rush into position. For the downed pilot, their arrival is a welcome sight.
As that back door open, I see a group of young Marine recon units jump out, and that was probably the best feeling I've ever felt in my entire life.
The Osprey rescues the pilot before Gaddafi's forces even know it was there.
He was on the back of the aircraft within a matter of seconds, and we were airborne again within a minute and a half.
High over Afghanistan, Major Derek Baker and his KC-135 crew pump gas into a leaking F-16. Fuel sprays out of the F-16's engine. Without constant refueling, the F-16's pilot may have to bail.
Essentially, at that point, we're just feeding his engines and trying to keep his tank at the current level so that he doesn't run out of gas.
The KC-135 and the F-16 fly connected through enemy skies. One sudden move from either aircraft could spell disaster.
We did have a lot to worry about. As you can imagine, having two aircraft really close to each other, in fact, actually touching each other, and then conducting air refueling over enemy territory, you're going to have some danger.
It's 30 minutes to the border. Plenty of time for something to go wrong.
We were a lot slower and less maneuverable. We're also looking out to make sure nobody decides to start shooting at us as well.
Finally, the airbase is within sight. The F-16 disconnects and descends downward. Baker makes a radio call and confirms. Mission accomplished. The jet is safely on the ground.
It felt really good to know that we were part of saving the aircraft and also the bigger part, the pilot's life.
With the F-16 safe on the ground, the tanker crew turns its attention towards the next mission.
Everybody's always going to need gas. It's high demand, and right after he got on the ground, after a quick high five, we went off to another refueling and continued the day.